So we talked a little bit about sights and sounds. How about those smells?
Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I'm Justin Cooper here with my good friend Maya Brown. We're with Pine Financial Group, and today we want to talk about location, location, location. We're going to dive into 4 important things to think about when you're looking at where to be buying your next investment property. Maya, what are we going to talk about?
So, Coop, I thought this might be kind of fun, so I bought some flashcards along so we could play a little bit of a game here.
I love it. I love
because
games.
location, location, location is a term that you hear all of the time, perhaps overused. But where your real estate investment property is located is perhaps one of the most important things. So we're going to start with neighborhood. Now, Coop, in this photo, I've got some lovely urban art.
Yes, I
and
love the
and
murals.
yeah, and some really upscale landscaping here. So if you look at that, so why is neighborhood important and just scouting out the area where your retail investment is going to be located?
Yeah, I mean, neighborhood is really what it all comes down to, right? Understanding where your neighborhood is, where the boundaries of the neighborhood is, who's buying in that neighborhood, what the trends are in that neighborhood, understanding where you're buying and whether that property is a cash flow neighborhood, an appreciating neighborhood, super, super important.
Now, it can be kind of tricky because a lot of times as investors, we're lured by an excellent price. And the reason that that price might be in a place where we're looking for is because of this neighborhood specifically. So how much do we have to dig into the neighborhood as far as walking around? What kind of cars are parked there? What do the neighbors look like? How fast are homes moving in that area?
Absolutely. Are we close to highways? Do we have to cross certain streets to get into the neighborhood or to get into where our property is? Maybe that means it's not in the neighborhood we're thinking it is. Super important to get actually out of the car, off of Google Maps, and walk around the neighborhood.
Yeah, and picture yourself living there too. Is this a place where you might want to live as well? So the next one I have here, and you have some personal experience with this. You know, we've all heard Coop's nightmare stories but we hear about the wins as well. But being located on a busy street, this is also a home you might find at a bargain price.
Yeah, absolutely. For a rental, buying on a busy street may be great, but if you're trying to do a fix and flip, busy streets may be detrimental. Because if we put ourselves in the shoes of the buyer, okay, buyers want to live on quiet streets. Maybe they're going to grow a family or already have kids. The kids want to go out and play, ride bikes. So an easy way to figure out if you're on a busy street is just look down at the street. Are there yellow lines on the road? If you look to your left or to the right as you're standing in the street, are there traffic lights in either direction, right? If you're at the property for a few minutes, are you hearing buses driving by or fire trucks driving by, right? These are all signs of a busy street. And so really similar to what we said about looking at the neighborhood, same thing on the streets, right? Really pay attention to where you are and what you're walking around and seeing around your property.
So this next one can be a little bit tricky because this is lot. What kind of lot is your property located on? You could perhaps have families that are looking for a big lot. They have kids, they have pets. A lot of the newer homes that are being built right now are kind of being built on top of one another with not a lot of yard space and privacy between properties. Corner lots, being sandwiched between 2 homes. What are we looking at when we're looking at the lot?
Yeah, it's such a good point. How much shoveling do we have to do, right? We live in Colorado. If you're on a large corner lot, you're going to have to shovel a lot more. What kind of off-street parking can we get? If you're on a corner lot, you can have bigger parties and more friends coming over. But if you're on a smaller lot, maybe you can't even park your second car in front of your home.
So it could be, Justin, that you have to visit your property more than once. And then sometimes that's difficult because we want to jump on really great deals. But you may want to go in the morning, in the afternoon, in the night to kind of see some of these things, the 3 S's: sights, smells, and sounds. I've been to several homes where there was a dog barking or 2 dogs barking the entire time that I was looking at the home. Those are things to pay attention to.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, there may be trains in the neighborhood or not very close, but depending on the type of train, you may hear them rattling through, blaring their horn as they're going around. And by going to the property at different times of the day, you're going to see that. You're going to see maybe when you visit the property, there's no lines on the road, there's no traffic lights, but if you're there in the middle of the day, maybe it's quiet, but maybe during rush hour, people are cutting through the neighborhood and it actually is a busy street.
So we talked a little bit about sights and sounds. How about those smells? You know, here in Denver, you know, there are factories, there are landfills. Those are also things to pay attention to. And hopefully you're not there when the wind is in whatever direction where you don't smell it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we live in Denver and there is a huge dog food manufacturing plant right by one of the highways. But of course, right around that are also a couple of neighborhoods. So depending on the type of day, depending on the type of season, the wind will shift, and you can smell that, and that will definitely have an impact on who wants to live in those neighborhoods.
Yeah, pay attention to the smells not only on the outside of the house, but also on the inside of the house. Were there smokers there at the house? Were they just not a very clean folks living there? But you want to pay attention to those because those could also be things that cost you a lot of money to remediate.
Absolutely. Such a good point.
Yeah, so bottom line, you want to make sure that you do as much research as possible on the location of your next real estate investment. Here at Pine Financial, we are constantly working together so that you succeed. So whatever platform you're on, be sure to hit like, hit subscribe, leave us some comments so we can continue creating the content that's valuable to you as a real estate investor.
And always, you can reach out to us anytime at pinefinancialgroup.com.